Hi, I'm Bill Runyon. I'm the president of Bioseal. I'm here with Kevin Canan, one of our top sales reps. Just want to give you a few pointers on how you can present the Bioseal product line to hospitals and surgery centers, whether you're going into the SPD or the operating room. So Kevin, I just mentioned our top call points, but is that really where you direct your calls when you're setting a call up?
Yeah, when I'm calling a hospital, I'll set up my first call will be for the supervisor of the sterile processing department. And then from there, I'll try to go into the OR, maybe an OR buyer or OR supervisor to go over the product lines for the operating room as well.
So when you go to the SPD, what do you present to them and how do you go about it? What's the first thing that you lead with?
In sterile processing, what I'll do is I'll talk about items that maybe they're sterilizing currently that they didn't know they could buy sterile. I'll talk about cotton balls, cotton rolls, cotton tip applicators, safety pins. We have latex-free rubber bands that sometimes hospitals didn't know they could buy sterile. And a lot of times, those things they might already get sterile, they won't use a lot of. But then they'll come up with items that didn't really, they were like, oh, you can do that. So they'll have to put together, they'll have to cut square. Like
so how, do you like flip through the catalog to kind of help that process
along?
Yeah,
there's going to be
ask a question.
There's going to be items in the catalog that might trigger something that they think about. So I'll walk through the catalog.
So do you turn to maybe the specialty page, probably a good page to point that out, where there's a lot of miscellaneous products on there. They might see the Procto swabs or the toothbrush or something like that.
Yeah, we'll talk about
and
that.
So when you meet with them, what are you looking to come away with? What's the thing that you're going to take out of that facility?
The one thing we want to take away, anything that they're sterilizing that's disposable. So any items that maybe they have to count up and put it in a pouch and sterilize and send it to the OR. So
they might even say, I don't know, I've got a left-handed smoke shifter that we package and sterilize for Dr. Bob, and you take that and you might bring it back to Bioseal, or for the reps who are out in Philadelphia or wherever. They might just pack that stuff up and send it back to us with a request for a quote, and we can tell them whether that's something they can do or not, right?
Exactly.
And so that turns around to something that might be a new product actually for us. That's kind of how what happened with us in the DuraHolder in this product. We were working with a hospital up in Northern California, a major university hospital, will remain nameless, but they helped us to develop this product in an area that they had some need with. So this DuraHolder, it's a different product. It's kind of new for us. So where do you go and how do you sell that? Is that an SPD call too?
The DuraHolder is an SPD call because they'll be setting up the trays for the OR. And one of the nice things about now with the DuraHolder is the new AAMI standard, you can't use peel packs inside the trays. So what I do is I'll talk to an account, I'll say, you know how you're trying to get away from peel packs inside your trays? And typically they'll say, yeah, that's what we're trying to do. I say, I have a product that we make from KimGuard, and the KimGuard is a product that's made by KC. Every hospital in the country probably uses some form of KimGuard. So they're familiar with the KimGuard, you show them the product, and it is something that's done very well for us.
So we have a license with Kimberly-Clark that allows us to use the KimGuard name, and you guys are all familiar with this, and so are your accounts. They're very familiar with KimGuard, so they get their hands on this, they're going to recognize it right away, and then they're going to see the advantage of using it. So in the operating room, that's ultimately where this stuff goes. So those guys up in the OR, how do we talk to them about this thing?
The OR is going to be a hands-on area where they're going to want to see it and see how it's used, because it's going to be different. They're going to be the ones that are using it. SPD is going to set it up. The OR eventually will have to approve the product. And what might happen is they might come back and say, we love the DuraHolder, but we'd like it to be more like this. They might even cut one up, or they'll draw with a marker on a current DuraHolder and say, can you make it this way?
Okay, so that points out that we can customize the DuraHolder in a lot of different ways. We already have several different styles of that product, but if a facility wants it a certain way, we can take care of that. So you probably lead with the Dura 100 or the 300, and if they like that, but they say, could you do it 4 pockets wide, or can you make them wider or narrower, we can facilitate all of that kind of stuff. What are some of the challenges? I know AAMI ST79 has been an advantage for us when they put that in and talk about the pouches, but I know there's also been some pushback when they say, well, how do we validate that, or what kind of resources do we have to give the customer or to give the rep so that they can get over that hurdle?
We've done testing with the DuraHolder, and we have that ready and ready to email to an account if they need testing documentation. So that's all set.
So there's a validation study and kind of a summary of that. And then inside each case of DuraHolder, there's a recommendations for use that talks about the temperature and the cycles that the product's been validated with. So that kind of gives you a heads up and a leaning as to where you can go with the DuraHolder and how you can present that. It's a great product. I wouldn't lead with it as the first thing because it might take away the steam from everything else you're going to talk about. Now on some follow-up calls, there are other products that we have in the bag too. We've got items like single instruments and kits and trays, and those might not come up, those might not be the first thing to sell. Those might need to be a relationship. So if you know somebody down at County Hospital and you know the laceration tray is probably on contract and it's probably a price thing that we're going to have to deal with, how do you go about, you know, getting in there and doing that?
A lot of times if you have a relationship with maybe the materials manager or your distribution rep, and the distribution rep can get a product in without it being on contract. They might be able to go to that materials management and say, I can save you some money on an OR sharp blunt. That's one of the products that we sell. That's one of our top sellers.
Yeah, it's probably in our top 5, is that OR sharp blunt scissor.
So it's just a simple product. We can be very competitive on pricing. So that might be an item that we might go to. Suture removal kits, chest tube trays. We didn't talk about the shoulder suspension kit. Shoulder suspension kit is an item that we're going to compete with on some companies where we're going to save a lot of money to an account. We might save $40 each on a shoulder suspension kit.
Yeah, compared to that Smith & Nephew company, but they remain nameless. So OR scissors, laceration trays, suture kits. You know, suture kits and IV start kits are pretty much commodity, and those are real low margin products. We do real well on the higher end trays that are used in the ancillary departments, things like Kevin mentioned, chest tube insertion trays, maybe a thoracotomy tray or a circumcision tray. So look for trays that are out there. That hospital might be packaging and re-sterilizing those instruments. This is an opportunity for them to take it to a disposable and, you know, just throw those instruments away. They don't have to worry about them being sharp or reprocessing them and the time and the labor involved there. So it's all part of the whole idea of Bioseal providing a service that helps to reduce the labor in the central service department while providing a high quality service and helping them to reduce FTEs, reduce the validation time and the regulatory burdens that they face with Joint Commission. So all of those are, you know, good reasons to talk to them. I'd lead with probably the specialty products, then I'd go to the DuraHolder. On a follow-up call, maybe you go to the trays if you've got a good relationship there. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of how Kevin would go into a facility. If you've got any questions, feel free to call Kevin. He's available, I'm available. You know, refer to the website. You know, we're here to help you. Go out there and sell. All right, good luck, guys.
Good luck.